Welcome. I'm Caroline Best of the Tao of Horsemanship. This is Rebecca, and we are here today to do a first-time horse assessment and pre-purchase exam. This beautiful, I guess you could call her a sorrel chestnut, is Foxy. She's about 13 years old. Quarter horse? Quarter horse. And Rebecca is looking to purchase her. This horse belongs to Sabrina, who's behind the camera, my camera girl. And Sabrina, for all of you that have been watching, either you joined the Starting the Young Horse course or you've seen some of the videos we've released on YouTube with the beautiful 2-year-old buckskin filly named Susie. So Sabrina bought Susie, and Rebecca's looking and Holly are looking for 2 horses. And what better way to go about this than through referral and people you trust and you know. Now, I've never met Foxy, so I come in here with total objectivity. I've heard about her for years through Sabrina, and I trust Sabrina's judgment. And now we're here to see if it's a good fit for Rebecca, a good connection, good chemistry. Rebecca is going to talk to all of us about what she's looking for in a horse, and then I'm going to talk to you about what I'm going to do as part of my assessment to get to evaluate this horse on all levels. It's a very holistic process. So we're looking at the spiritual, which is the relationship, the ability for the horse to connect easily with people and bond. We're looking for the mental agility, emotional agility, and the physical, where we are. Okay, all right, my dear. So here you are. Yep. Well, yay! Welcome back. And what do you talk to us? What do you, and you've got to stand close to me because I didn't bring my extra mic. Okay. So what are you looking for in a horse?
Right. Well, you asked me that, and
I've been asking that for a while.
I came up with.
Real quick. So for those of you who have joined the courses, Rebecca lost her beloved horse. We buried him on my property, Jupe, in December. Yeah. From a year of chronic abscess, bone infection, bone loss, and then the rest of the body was just starting to shut down. Yeah. So
that was hard. If we could have gotten Jupe to a stable spot, I would have kept him as a non-riding horse.
Yes, so. Yes, you would have.
Right. That's been some grieving, and now I'm ready and have a spot where things can be different too. So.
Yeah, and some people your grieving can last a lot longer. It all depends. But for Rebecca, that was your first horse. You'd had him for a few years, and you were I think 1 out of those 3 years, he was with us trying to rehabilitate him, and she was so gung-ho on riding and learning and developing, and then it was taken away from her. So to me, when I see people in that situation, you grieve, but you're also ready to bounce right back a lot faster.
Yeah.
Because you were left with this, I'm so ready and I've jumped in. Whoop! I'm falling off the cliff now. My horse is gone.
Yeah.
And it's just different for everyone. I think people that have had horses like I did, my late horse for a long time, and we just lost Smokey. I just lost Smokey the other month. But I have so many other horses that, it just helps with the pain.
Yeah.
It helps. So I completely understand you wanting to dive back in.
Yeah. And I have the opportunity to have a different situation too. So I'll be able to adjust my life so that I travel a little less.
Yes, you travel less, and you'll be able to have him pretty much in your backyard, or her in your backyard.
Right. Pretty close.
And you're able to spend time with the method, the mastery membership. You can, for once, really dive in fully. And that's been something that you've wanted to do that you haven't been able to do because Jupe cost so much money during the rehabilitation and traveling to see him while we were trying to keep him alive.
Right.
Pretty complicated situation. So
Absolutely.
Here you are. Yeah.
So when you asked me that question, I thought, well, the first thing I want is sort of everything, right? Because...
And what's everything for you?
Everything for me is a dependable, safe,
riding adventurous. You love to trail ride.
Right. Partner.
And a horse that can grow with you, that doesn't get stuck.
Yes, yeah. So I although I have a lot to learn, I feel like I'm good for more maybe than some people.
Lot easier because your horse was very traumatized emotionally And then physically he had a handicap with the bone disease, but he was also, the emotional trauma prevented you from being able to make the breakthroughs as a new student.
Right.
And so you have a double challenge. Now it's,
Right.
from what I have gathered from Sabrina, and I'll find out myself in a little bit, you're going to have a horse that's more open to learning, more confident, easier, and it's going to make your learning so much quicker.
Right.
And I always recommend that for people too. It's so hard when you come in new with horses or new to a new training method like mine, even if you've been around horses your whole life and you're starting to discover that the horse you've had for 10 years isn't open.
Right.
You know, they have triggers all the time.
And hopefully I've learned a lot. Like, I can't learn from my mistakes. I've only got one life to live, so I need to learn, you know, from people who know. So that's,
Yeah.
you know, my fault if I don't learn like that. So I'm not, yeah, I would like a horse that's more polished.
More polished.
But you know, the heart is important to me.
Yeah.
So the adventurousness, the heart, the
Spirit,
mindset,
the ability
spirit,
to connect. Yes.
You know, in what I would envision is trail riding, but some of it might just be in our neighborhood, which is rural, but you know, so there'll be traffic and kids and dogs and bikes and trails with grouse, and
So you're talking
so
about
I'm
a horse
talking
that's
about a solid horse.
pretty
I need
bomb-proof.
Yeah.
And if the horse isn't totally there, at least they're not dangerous, obviously. And a horse also that is open to learning. So when you're learning some of the stuff in the program, the horse is capable of that. And that's what I'm here, because we're not going to be going on a trail ride, not today.
Right.
But that is what you want to do while you're here this week. You and Sabrina can do that on your own, but I'm here to assess this horse's learning, how open, and that's really critical.
Right.
Because you already bought a trail horse, you thought, with your former horse, and it was, you were very new and very naive, and it's very deceiving when you go out on a group trail ride with other riders and horses, because the horses are comfortable with other horses. They've got their nose up their tail. You don't really get to see, you don't know who your horse is, you guys, till you take them out by yourself. Until you take your horse out off the property, away from their comfort and their thresholds and everything that they feel is safety to them and their close relationships, and you take them out, then that tests your relationship, and it tests this horse's ability to trust you. You know, I don't come from the old school, well, test this horse's ability to be obedient and cooperative and to partner. Well, what the hell does that all really mean, partner? I want a horse that trusts me. I want such a strong relationship that that horse is willing to do what I ask. And if the horse is not, that we're safe enough that we can discuss it and figure it out. That's key.
I got a glimpse of that with Jupe, because we did have a good relationship. I spent a lot of time with him, so I was maybe stupid, and we did go out and bareback bitless on the trails.
That's not stupid, but you were just really naive. You only know what you know. You didn't know what you didn't know. So, I mean, did you go out on those trails by yourself?
Yeah.
With him?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. So in your riding, on a scale of 1 to 10, your riding's like a 2? It's, I mean, seriously. So most of us are just passengers on our horses, no disrespect to you. But most people, when you trail ride, you're just a passenger. And you either allow your horse to be guided by other horses, or even when you're out on your own, you ask very little. And so, you know, that's great. That's amazing that Jupe wasn't buddy sour, and that he was able, when he came to my place, he got really buddy sour though.
Yeah.
So you know, we don't know what was going on. He was beat up at your place where you had him. He was beat up. He was chased off food. He was 150 pounds underweight when he came to me. 150 pounds with 100 and some temperature, and he had ulcers because he was so stressed out where he was. So, I mean, no offense, but come on, people. You got to look at the whole picture here. And so no wonder why he wanted to get the hell out with you. But when he came to my place, then we had a whole nother can of worms with the buddy sour stuff. He became very attached. He didn't want to leave the herd. And it just started to really escalate for him in any bit of small increments of handling or training. So that's a lot. You guys have to think about these things. And even if you're coming into horses new, you need to gain, that's why Rebecca's here, as much experience to broaden your perspective. So that's what I have to say about that.
Okay.
All right, so we're here to look at temperament, to look at this horse's ability to learn. I've never met this horse, and so, you know, I'm going to come in with a whole different level of energy and purpose, and that's all pressure. So to me, the number one thing with horses is how do they handle pressure? And pressure should be a positive. We all have pressure. There's pressure around us all the time, horses included. Everything we do with a horse, there's pressure. Whether it's steady pressure, rhythmic pressure, intentional pressure, focus pressure, it's all pressure. Every time we ask them to do something, it's pressure. I think that's a big thing people don't think about. And how do these horses do in pressure? It should be a positive.
So you're going to try to push her a little bit just to see where she is?
I'm not going to try and push anything. She's going to go through the same test that every horse goes through. It's not about pushing her. It's just about asking her to learn and to figure some things out. And either she's going to figure them out with a good head on her shoulders, or she's going to flip out.
Right. So you get information.
I'll get lots of information because this is an assessment. It's all about getting information so that we know what we're working with. Yeah, pretty cool. And the best way to do it, I'm going to start out at a walk, and I'm going to start going through my specific exercises that are in the training program, the Mastery membership, and then I will add speed as I go along, because speed naturally, instinctively, stimulates adrenaline in a horse. And if a horse doesn't have emotional agility, meaning they aren't experienced with speed, they're not comfortable with speed, they don't feel like they're in control, both mentally and physically, the whole balance thing, then we're going to be able to assess that. Yeah. And go, okay, this horse is not comfortable with pressure or comfortable with adrenaline. And that's key, because we want adrenaline on the trail. Holy cow, like you said, could be a grouse.
Right.
I mean, I have such fond memories of cantering, even galloping Smokey and Legend back in the day, and Sundance, and deer would just come out and run next to us, and it never shifted them. In the beginning, it was, trust me, but once we got to that place, anything, the grouse, the wild birds, you know, anything could come out.
And usually someone's got dogs.
Oh yeah.
And the dogs scare up like badgers, or, you know, has happened. So.
Or just hunters. I was in Maryland, so it was hunting season all the time. I mean, I still have my orange vest. You had to be really careful. So the guns were always going off, and geese everywhere. I was in the wetlands. So yeah, this is really good right now, because she has 2 other pasture mates, and she's, you know, looked for them, but she hasn't called out for them. And Sabrina made a good comment that she's, you know, when Sabrina's around her, she feels very safe and comfortable, and the buddy sourness doesn't show up. So this is great. Buddy sour is a horrible thing, you guys, and it comes in all different levels. I mean, I've had some of the worst buddy sour horses ever, where the trail rides were just, I had to walk home.
Because they were
hell-bent on getting back, jigging, screaming, lathered. Legend would throw me down. Oh yeah, throw me down on the ground, and it was so dangerous because I lived in, you know, a hilly part of the country in Maryland, so I couldn't afford to be thrown down a ravine into the water. Right. And I'd get off of him, and he'd be on top of me. He'd be running right through me. I mean, I've been through it, you guys. This is really nice. This is really awesome. She's beautiful. I love that color. Yeah. And I love how she's standing underneath herself conformationally. All right, my dear. So I'm going to have you going out now. Okay. And if you have any questions, just stay close to Sabrina, because the camera will pick up. Gotcha. The mic on the camera will pick up. And don't hesitate to interrupt me. All right. Hi, sweet girl. I don't expect this horse to know my work. I'm going to treat her like she doesn't, even though Sabrina knows my work. And I'm just going to see what this horse knows and what she doesn't, and how she responds. A little more muscular. I love the sorrels. All right, so I'm going to back her up. Good girl. And see how she handles pressure. I'm going to send you out. Very nice, Sabrina. Let's see if we can keep her in the same direction. All right, I'm going to ask for a trot. That's a good girl. Beautiful. Beautiful. Let's get her going in the other direction. Well, what were you telling us? What were you telling us? Well, what? All right, I'm gonna ask her into the canter. Good girl, nice. My assessments last 3 hours with new horses and new students. It's because the horses are a mess. And I spend 3 hours or 2 hours just trying to get the horse to trust and be open and not panic. Well, you need to get on. We're not done yet. We have yet to tack her up and ride.
Easy. We're not going anywhere. We're not walking off.
Awesome. So just relax your reins, they're awfully tight, and stop her. So look at me, look at the gate. Yep, lift up the rein closest to where you're headed. Yep, look and push her. Don't look down, push her to where you want to go. Follow your focus. Yep, show the horse where you want to go. Excellent. Yep, horses are so smart. They know where that focus is. So I'm obviously never going to advise someone at Rebecca's level of riding to do anything but a walk right now. A stop, a halt, and a backup, and turning, of course. Sounds very basic, but when you're on the trail ride, this is pretty much what you're going to be doing, unless you really know how to ride a sitting trot or a nice lope, a nice collected canter. So many of the horses that people go to purchase are drugged, and they're push button, and they're comfortable, and then they go to a new environment and they go crazy. Yeah, we're good. So,
Do you mind riding her? They would kind of like to see.
oh, you want me to get on her? Sure. But that's where people go wrong. I'm gonna make it look good.
Right.
I'm gonna, even if the horse doesn't know my language, I'm gonna be able to, a good skilled horse person's gonna be able to figure the horse out and make it look good.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's not fair.
Right.
And that's deceiving. That's why you all need to ride the horse and make sure that horse meets you right at your level. Great question. And has the potential to take you where you want to go. All right, that's good. We're done. Thank you, everybody. Look forward to your comments. If you're curious about more about the pre-vet exam, I think I have 5 videos on my YouTube channel, and they're all full length on pre-purchase. 3 to 5, all full length on pre-purchase. So you can go and study those, and you'll get more of a in-depth breakdown with one of my schoolmasters, because then you get a visual of what I really want to see. And when you compare that to this horse that's not had one of my foundation training with me, you'll see how awesome she is, but there's some areas we can refine physically, just the whole straightness training and balance. That's really all I'm talking about. Other than that, she's fabulous. Thank you. May you always be one with your horse. And Rebecca, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, bye guys.